is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the Lining Up 2024 series. In this series, I promised to give you 4 main steps to help you stay aligned with your New Year's resolution with an end goal of personal development and fostering your mental well-being. And of those 4 steps, we have already done 3. So we have been true to the promise. And today we finish off with the last one, which brings us to the end of Tuesday Talks this 2023. In step number 1, we looked at resolutions versus values. And here we were focusing on what you are made of. Therefore, we're looking at your internal compass, and this you are encouraged to take a look at. Take a moment and understand what your values are. What is it that makes you do what you do? What sets you apart from others? And looking at those values then helps you in decision making, because this is how you show up. Number 2, we looked at your passion. What is that one thing that you would do for free? And this will help you to align your New Year's resolution so that it's not just a knee-jerk reaction at the clock strike of midnight when New Year's is upon us, but it'll be something that you have thought about, you have internalized, and you have brought out because it is your passion. And together with that, with your values, it adds more worth to it. And then number 3, we looked at purpose-driven resolutions. What is your purpose? Have you identified your purpose in life? And if you haven't, it's not the end of the world. It's just you trying to figure out, what am I here for? And in that particular season, there's always an answer. If you go seeking it, you will find the answer, and you will figure out what your purpose is, and let that purpose then drive you to create a New Year's resolution. You see, when you have these 3 backing up your New Year's resolutions, chances of carrying it through for 365 days increase. And you can apply this to any season in your life, knowing your values, understanding your passion, and knowing what your purpose is so that you can bring them together. We then moved on to step number 2, which was mindset versus compassion. And here we looked at mindfulness. Many a time, we have negative self-talk that goes on in our minds, and we allow it to hold space in our mind, and therefore it is demonstrated through the behavior. When we are showing up in certain places, the language that comes out is because it is something that we have entertained in our minds. So when you're having your self-talk, what kind of language are you using on yourself? That was mindfulness. We then moved on to mindset, the shift from fixed mindset to growth mindset. And yes, we are human beings, so we will never be perfect. We will never have 100% score when it comes to our mindset, but we strive for that 100% score. Moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset allows us to grow out of our comfort zones, allows us to grow out of our limiting beliefs and feeling that we are not good enough, we will not amount to anything, that thing is not for me, there are other people who are better than me at that, definitely, so I should not even try it. You see, in that way, we lock ourselves, we become prisoners behind the bars, of which when we are released from, we can then engage with our potential. Then we looked at resilience, and resilience was beautiful because although resilience comes from a place of having had setbacks, of having experienced failures, resilience helps us to get up one more time. Resilience for me is tied to hope. And hope for me is a big message from the Holy Bible. And with hope, I know that I can always move forward. Great to see you there. Nancy, I'm not sure who that is. Is that Will? Is that Jonathan? Is that Roseanne? So good to see you guys there. So I'm just doing a recap of the promise that I made to deliver 4 steps. So that was step number 2, mindset versus compassion. Step number 3 is relationships versus connections. And this is powerful because as a human being, we were not created to be islands. We need that collaboration, connection, partnership. We need environments where we have fellow human beings for us to thrive. And though it can be hard work at times, it is all worth it. We need to trust the process. And the first thing we looked at was a support system. So who is your support system? You can actually answer that question by yourself and say that it is the people that I have chosen to surround me, to support me. These people are handpicked by you. And that way you have more impact on your environment and your life. Number 2 was upskilling empathy. Now, empathy, by extension, is coming out of emotional intelligence. And we shared the importance of you feeling the 3 levels of empathy and us focusing on compassionate empathy so that we can show up in this way of upskilling it. And number 3 was quality interactions. In every door that you go through, what is it that you're hoping to gain so that you can be fully present? When you understand why you're going through a door, that it is not a surprise, you have time to prepare yourself. However, even if it's a door you're going through and you are not ready for it, you already have from your past experience questions, expectations of yourself that you bring to the table because you know your values, because you know what your passion is, because you have a purpose. So those were the 3 first steps that we have gone through. And now the 4th step today is all about time versus accountability. Words that need to be used in the same sentence. We all have 24 hours in our day. Are we accountable for each minute, each second? Do we want to be? Only you can answer that question. So today, I am here to share with you the last step to help you be aligned and level up for your New Year's resolutions. So that when you make that decision, it is something that is sustainable. You've thought about it. You can actually say that Clarity Coach Lucy helped us with 4 steps to get to this point. So click the request here to join for an opportunity to engage me on a one-on-one because in this episode we are seeking to understand how to adapt to change. That's what we're seeking to understand. The question today is, what accountability strategy or strategies have you used with success this year? So what accountability strategy or strategies have you used with success in this year? And as you answer that question, I'll be sampling all the answers that you put down here. I'm just going to kick it right in and go in for the 3 tips to help you implement time and accountability in the coming year. And I can see that you're saying all of us are so lovely to have you here with me today. So jumping into the 3 tips. The first one is time blocking. And time blocking is not about stopping something from happening, but it's about the blocks, the building blocks. So taking time in its different blocks and just setting it aside. So whatever task or activities that you need to be doing, you have put them into time blocks. And this is key. So as we proceed, we need to know that chaos and multitasking can be very detrimental to your progress. Now, this is the back end of time blocking. This is in the absence of time blocking that you will have chaos. However, you may argue with me that I thrive in chaos. I thrive in multitasking. Oh, there's so much to be done and I need to multitask. If I do not multitask, I'll not get it done. I hear you. I hear you. This was my status for the longest time. And every time that you looked at my working area, I was multitasking. In fact, this was very detrimental for my mental well-being. And though I have managed to put it under control, there are still days when I just go into multitasking because for a minute there, I have forgotten to time block. So back to time blocking. Instead of succumbing to this chaos and succumbing to multitasking, just allocate that specific time. Start small. I have just completed an assignment in the past week, and this assignment came to me at the 11th hour. So what did I do? Immediately time blocking came into play for me. And so every day I time blocked certain hours. And I knew during that time, my phone was off. My doorbell was off. My laptop was definitely not on. So I limited the distractions that were around me. And what happened was that I ended up being so focused on what I was doing, and I did what the consultation needed me to do. And so that other end of my business, LMC Consultancy, I was able to deliver on that. So by adopting time blocking, there are 3 things that I'd like to share with you. I've already shared one, but I'll just repeat it. By allocating that time blocking, you are able to pave the way for heightened focus and productivity. You're eliminating or you're minimizing all the distraction around you because you know there's a task at hand. So what happens at times is that we don't honor the task at hand. And when we don't honor the task at hand, we do not then ensure that we limit any distractions around us. So there's your step 1. You've allocated the time blocking, and therefore you're paving way for heightened focus and productivity. And you'll thank me later. Step number 2, you set yourself up for success in meeting your goals. Because there's no distraction, because you are focused and productivity is happening, it's like a snowball effect. It's like a stone rolling over moss and just collecting it as it goes. What actually happens is you find that you've gone further along than you were maybe an hour before, 2 hours before. And because of the heightened focus of productivity, you see that there's something to count. You can actually see there's something tangible that you can call on and say, this is what I did in the last 1 hour, in the last 2 hours, in the last 3 hours. And number 3 is positively impacting your mental well-being. You see, when you're organized, what happens is very simple. You have a sense of peace. You have a sense of intention. And like I mentioned, focus, focus, focus. You are able to work on what it is you set out to do. And when you do that, you are less stressed. Because what is stress? Stress is just not being able to meet those expectations that you had set out for yourself. Yes, stress is healthy. But at times when you're too stressed and you become overwhelmed and you don't manage it with the tools that we're discussing today, you find that you are affecting your mental well-being in a negative way. So you want to be peaceful. Although there's a lot of work to do, you want to feel satisfied, you want to feel fulfilled. You don't want to stay overwhelmed, anxious, distressed. These are not good things for you. And you end up getting tired, exhausted, and demotivated. So those are the 3 things. Either you pave the way for heightened focus and productivity, or you set yourself up for success to meet your goals, or you positively impact your mental well-being. And the perfect scenario is when you can have all these 3 happening at the same time. So as you navigate the opportunities and challenges that are going to come up in your next season or the next new year, integrating this time blocking can be a powerful tool, and I do hope that you will do that. It's a powerful tool for success. This is effective management, and I'm sure you've heard about this term. You see, when you have effective management, you get clarity, you get order. This is what it brings to your daily life, and I love clarity and order. So time management is key, absolutely key for me. It creates a foundation of personal and professional growth for me because I can actually see the way it is growing. And I encourage you to embrace this time management. I can see the trajectory. I can see the vision so clearly because of time management. Does it work all the time? Honestly, no. But the beautiful thing is that because I set out to manage my time and to time block, I have more successes than failures. I tend to reach my goals faster than if I had not put in some time blocking. So there's a term for you today. So through this commitment of mindful time management, you set the stage for a year or a season ahead of you marked by achievement. Is that a lovely word? Marked by balance. Yes, we're always looking for balance in life, and a profound sense of accomplishment. Because once you feel accomplished again, that is so good for your mental well-being. And I can see that there is some response here. Jonathan, you say time blocking proves very useful to me as a student, especially to meet assignment deadlines and in revision for exams. Well, there you have it. And that is a very good thing to start out now, a habit, Jonathan, that you start out with time blocking now. So when you leave the school arena and you go into life as a working individual, you will find that those habits that you formed as a student will serve you well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jonathan. The question today that Jonathan here was answering, I'm asking today, what accountability strategy or strategies have you used with success this year? Jonathan tells us he has used it as a student in his assignment deadlines. So we believe that from what he is saying, he has had those senses of achievement, the sense of balance, the sense of profound sense of achievement. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing with us. We move on to tip number 2, which is accountability buddy. And just as it sounds, it's accountability. A buddy is someone who's very close to you. So you need somebody who is close to you so that you can run things through, you can then speak to. Because although we can have conversations on our own, especially for those of us who are introverts, we prefer to have these conversations on our own because we are private people. And we are not about the party life, the loud life, the telling people what it is that is going on in our lives. We are very reserved. However, an accountability partner, though it may be difficult for an introvert, is something that I encourage you to have. Accountability buddy. And this is somebody then that you can be able to share what it is that you're going through. So partnering with someone who shares similar aspirations is something you need to look for. This buddy needs to have similar aspirations as you do, because this can be a game changer. When you're speaking with this person, you're speaking the same language. And that is beautiful. This is not a place for judgment. This is not a place where you're pulling one another down. If you and your accountability partner do not agree on something, it's a point for discussion. And it's so beautiful to debate because we get different perspectives. So fostering mutual encouragement, support, and a shared sense of responsibility are the things we're looking for in this partnering with this person that we shall call our accountability buddy. And now that I mention it to you, you will realize that you know who your accountability buddy is. You're already doing it, but perhaps there was no term to what this engagement was about. Well, there you have it, and you want to carry this through into your new season and your new year. You see, when you establish a routine of regular check-ins with your accountability partner or buddy, now that you know that's what they are, and you begin to establish a routine of regular check-ins, you can use these sessions for many things, but I'm just going to share 3 things with you right now. The first way that you can use this session, or how this session with your accountability buddy can really help you, is to review your goals. To review your goals. Now, you've set goals already, and if you haven't, you want to start setting goals for the next year and the new season. Put them down. Don't put too many goals, because again, when you put too many goals, you get overwhelmed and you get distracted. Put in at least 3 goals, and these goals can grow throughout the next season or the next year. So with your accountability partner, sound off those goals. Hear yourself speaking about these goals, and you will begin to see how you can change a few words in that statement of your goal. You will begin to see that perhaps this goal is not realistic or achievable. You will begin to see those aspects of time. What kind of time do I need to allocate to this goal? But only because you're having a loud conversation. When I say aloud, I mean an out loud conversation with somebody else. And in this case, your accountability buddy. Accountability buddy who is allowing you to feel safe in this space because it is non-judgmental. So that's number 1, review goals. Number 2 is, I've always talked about journaling. So you could be journaling your progress, journaling the progress of those goals as you go ahead. So you can use this session to stay organized. In other words, whatever it is you have been journaling then becomes the topic of our conversation today. And it will prove prove very insightful, because as you share what you have journaled, you will hear yourself speak up, but you'll also hear feedback from your accountability buddy. Remember, this accountability buddy has got similar aspirations as you, and therefore they are going to have something to contribute and bring to the table. And you are working together because it's a synergy over here, and you want to make the best of it. So you need to also be open to feedback. And the feedback at times can be very harsh, but you're not looking at catching feelings, you're looking at how you can grow, because this environment allows you and gives that potential of growth. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. I think I just went off track there. And then the third one is, a third way that we can use these sessions is dedicate time to reflect on your achievements. Reflect on them. Why did you achieve? Why did you get to this point? How did this favor come upon you? Reflect with gratitude your achievements. Many a times we look at our achievements and there's a danger of just looking over them and just saying, this is something normal, I do this every day. We don't take things for granted. We have been given life and we have been given free oxygen to breathe in and breathe out, so that we are alive and we can show up and actually have achievements. So give thanks to God the Almighty, because He has enabled you to achieve. We also need to take time to reflect on our setbacks. And we talked about in our session 2 about the setbacks. Setbacks happen. In the session 2, we're talking about the resilience that comes as a result of our experience with setbacks. Setbacks are the ones that are stepping stones to success. So it's not something that you should ignore, or not something that should pull you down. Just being able to reflect on your setbacks with your accountability buddy is just going to show you how blessed you are to have experienced that setback, number one. Number two, to be able to see what the learning was. Because in setbacks, there are so many learnings. I mean, think about this. If you had prayed for something to happen and it didn't, that is a setback. But then you take a moment, you're encouraged to take a moment, then just figure out, what am I learning? Why is it I didn't get this thing? Look for the silver lining. That's the club I belong to. Look for the silver lining and exercise gratitude in your setbacks, because this is where resilience is born. You get stronger. Achievements are not going to make you stronger. It is the setbacks that make you stronger. So they do have a place in our lives. And then the challenges encountered. We have challenges every moment, every second. We call them as they are. They are challenges. But with every challenge, we need to figure out a solution or two. Have that mindset of challenges and solutions. So you are growing from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. It is so important that as you set out in your new season and the new year, that you know challenges are going to come about. But you're having a conversation with your accountability buddy. So when those challenges do arise, you have somebody that you can go back and sound off. And you can be able to have an outsider's insider view, so to speak. Additionally, and those are the 3 points I wanted to share with you when you are talking when you're scheduling check-ins with your accountability buddy. Now, additionally to that, there are aha moments that you have experienced throughout the year. And there are pivotal experiences also that you come across throughout the year or in whatever season it is. Identify them. Be in a moment with them and internalize. This aha moment could easily be that it's something that you have been doing year in, year out, but it is only this instant that suddenly the light bulb has gone off and now you've understood the whys and the wherefores. That's an aha moment. So you want to be able to celebrate an aha moment and then do what? Pay it forward. You must always pay it forward, because when you have an aha moment, you are cognizant of the fact that somebody else is on the same journey like you, but has not yet seen the clarity that you are enjoying at this moment. And then there's a pivotal experience. You know that one where, in fact, I like to use this example, where you know, and you've always known, and there's no doubt. And then a pivotal experience happens, and you do a 180-degree turn. And anybody who knew you yesterday and hears you speak today will think you're crazy, because you're talking about two totally different things. This is because something pivotal has happened in your life when you have seen it in a totally different lens. It is no longer the regular lens that you see, so you appreciate the you of yesterday, and this allows you to extend grace to others who have not yet matured like you have into that pivotal experience. Whoa, those are very heavy words today, and my apologies, but I'm on a roll here when we're talking about accountability partners. You see, this is one strategy that I have used with success this year. So my question to you, what strategy, other than the time management strategy, have you used this year with success? Share it with me here on the chat, and I would like to be able to sample it. Thank you so much, expert. Thank you so much, Njoki, for joining us here today. Today we are talking about time management versus accountability. And we've covered already 2 steps, time blocking and accountability buddy. And as we're coming to the end today, we are talking now about the 3rd tip, which is your mental well-being. Wow, your mental well-being is key. Because with this mental well-being, you're able to approach things from a calm state of mind. Talking about being calm, you can bring yourself to a point of calmness. You can either meditate in prayer or just meditate with nature and bring in a breathing exercise, and this drops your heartbeat. And when it drops your heartbeat, you have this zen and zone kind of atmosphere where you are able to be in touch with yourself, where there's no room for distraction, where any thought that is coming to your mind, you are able to deflect it so that you are in the present. Make a commitment to allocate dedicated time every day for these practices. If you are prayerful, then that is where your meditation is. Make it a practice that as you pray, you go into meditation. And this allows you to have such clarity. Whatever it is that you prayed for and you think was not answered, it is at this moment that you are going to see how answered prayer has been with you all along. But because perhaps you have never been in this state of zen in prayer, you have not seen the gift of answered prayer. Oh man, today I'm really going in deep. So I'm going to move on forward because in the interest of time, as you make a commitment to allocate dedicated time for these practices, you are going to be fostering a positive impact on your mental well-being. So number 1, set clear boundaries. This is a great tip, and I've always talked about it. Set clear boundaries on the different aspects of your lives, so that you know whether you're dividing them or whether they're merging. Have clear boundaries. Number 2, as you are setting these clear boundaries, there are just a few steps that I'd like to share with you. Number 1 is prioritize self-care. I've talked about a lot in my past episodes. Prioritize self-care activities as you set your clear boundaries in your life. Prioritize those so that you can rejuvenate your mind and your body. Number 2, engage in hobbies that bring you joy and fulfillment. Yeah? Is it called a dopamine or dopamine? That one. That's what you want to be able to accentuate in your body. It brings you joy and fulfillment, a sense of being alive. It creates space for relaxation and creativity. This I know to be true. And then number 3, strengthen your social connectivity. And we talked about this in our last episode when we talked about relationships versus connections. You want to be able to strengthen your social connections by fostering meaningful relationships with friends and loved ones. Remember the quality interactions we spoke about if you were here in our last episode. If not, you can always look it up on our YouTube channel, LMC Consultancy. And then last but not least, embrace the power of saying no. I have really embraced this power of saying no because I put myself first. I put my goals first. I put my values first. I put my beliefs first. So I say no if anything is going to come into conflict with these things that are important to me. And yes, it was a bit scary in the beginning because you may tend to be a people pleaser and you want to have people around you. But you know what? When you learn to say no, people appreciate your honesty, how you show up from a point of respect. You're not saying no out of disrespect. You're coming from a point of respect because as a follow-up, you know why you're saying no. Because when you say no, you allow yourself the necessary time to recharge, to recuperate. So for the coming year, the season in your life, make a conscious effort to strike a harmonious balance between your areas, your different areas of life. This will enhance your mental well-being and contribute to a more fulfilling and satisfying time ahead. So in conclusion, in this episode, we were seeking to understand how to adapt to change. And you may wonder, adapt to change how? Maybe you've never done time blocking. Maybe you've never had an accountability partner. Maybe you've never prioritized your mental well-being. Or maybe you've never done any of those three. This is adapting to change. Now that you know it's available out there, you need to set out to do something different. And I will tell you, it's not going to be easy. But I honestly believe that simple exercise of a habit is formed in 21 days is something worthwhile. So as you embark on the journey of the next season, consider embracing the transformative practice of time blocking, which is effective time management. Embracing the transformative practice of identifying an accountability buddy. And then last but not least, identifying and embracing the transformative practice of prioritizing your mental well-being. Because these particular practices are key for you. And you will be able to step into the new year with New Year's resolutions that mean something positive to you. They are yours, they don't belong to somebody else. Gone will be the knee-jerk reaction because you heard somebody else say at the strike of midnight that this is what they wanted to do. And you thought, whoa, good idea, I want to do that too. Maybe they've had a session with Clarity Coach Lucy and they know why they're saying what they're saying, but you are just in that moment feeling the euphoria of a season coming to an end and another one starting that you've not even internalized how you want this next season to be for you. The takeaways today are, as you line up your 2024, set clear priorities. Number 2, track your progress. And number 3, enhance your well-being. The recording of this episode will be available on our YouTube channel by this evening. And it's LMC Consultancy YouTube channel. This is our last episode of the year 2023. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your company. I want to thank you for your engagement. And I want to thank you for the time that we're speaking about today, time management, that you would show up for Tuesday Talks at 3. Clearly, you are already using that strategy of time blocking. I thank you. All this could not have been possible. All these episodes this year could not have been possible without you. And I give thanks to God Almighty for bringing you into my space and for allowing me to have this information and pour out to you from a full cup. And I pray that God blesses you and blesses all of us and blesses me with a continued full cup that I can pour out from. Well, our social media platforms will continue to educate you and inform you while we are away. We will be back on air next January, and that will be on the 9th of January. Find us on Instagram, find us on TikTok, find us on LinkedIn, find us on Facebook as Lucy, your Clarity Coach. Here's wishing you a blessed festive season and a prosperous New Year from LMC Consultancy. Let us help build each other. I can see the notes there coming through. Thank you so much, Will. Thank you so much, Roseanne. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you so much, Nancy. You have really kept me company. And as I say, let us continue building each other. And until then, you can say it with me, Roseanne. I know you're dying to say this. And until then, be kind to yourselves.